The room felt alive in the quietest way. Not loud, not dramatic, just a subtle shift in energy that made everyone lean in without realizing it. Bradley Walsh entered with his familiar warmth, that mischievous twinkle in his eye, the kind that makes you feel instantly at ease. He smiled, like he always does, but this time there was something softer there, a hint of reflection that made people pause. It wasn't sadness, exactly. It was deeper. A weight, sure, but a weight wrapped in memory, gratitude, and connection. He started talking casually with that natural charm that has made him a favorite for so many. The jokes came first, quick and playful, the kind that makes you forget the world outside for a while. He laughed at himself in that familiar way, the kind that makes you want to laugh too, because it feels honest, human, and impossible to fake. And then, between the chuckles, the emotion slipped in. Just slightly at first, a pause that said more than words could. The audience noticed instantly. There was something different here, something meaningful. Bradley spoke about his journey, about the laughter and the challenges, the small victories and moments that no one sees but mean everything. He reflected on the unexpected twists of life, the times when you think you know what's coming, only for the universe to prove you delightfully wrong. Every word felt lived in, not rehearsed, like a diary entry shared aloud with friends. Ruth, or someone standing beside him in the moment, smiled softly, watching him. There was that unspoken understanding that only comes from deep connection, years of shared experiences, mutual support. Bradley didn't need to dramatize anything. The warmth between them, the easy rapport, carried the emotion naturally. He teased himself next, poking fun at how he always tries to maintain control of his emotions, only to be caught off guard at the most inconvenient moments. The audience laughed again, softly this time, the kind of laugh that carries relief, recognition, and affection all at once. Because who hasn't been there? Who hasn't felt life sneak up and remind them how much they care? Then came the subtle romantic undertone, not the kind of loud, dramatic romance you see in movies, but the quiet, affectionate kind, the kind that lives in shared smiles, gentle touches, and playful glances. He acknowledged, without saying it outright, the value of having someone who understands you without words, who shares laughter and silent support in equal measure. Fans felt it too, the warmth, the honesty, the connection. The humor didn't diminish the emotion, it highlighted it, like laughter after a heartfelt confession. Moments like these are rare. They make people feel included, even if they're watching from thousands of miles away. Bradley's voice faltered slightly, not dramatically, but just enough to remind viewers he's human, capable of vulnerability. It's that honesty that draws people in. It's that imperfection that makes moments resonate. He reflected on gratitude next, not the public kind that's flashy or performative, but the quiet, deep kind that swells inside you when you think about all the people, experiences, and memories that shape your life. He talked about how laughter has been a lifeline, how humor has always helped him navigate difficult times, how small moments of connection are more important than anyone can measure. Ruth, or the one beside him, reached out with a soft smile, a reassuring gesture, an affectionate touch. Nothing over the top, just enough to say, "I'm here and I understand." That single action made the moment feel warmer, safer, more real. Bradley chuckled again, this time shaking his head. "I really did not see this coming," he said, light and playful. The audience smiled. Some laughed, some nodded knowingly. Life has a way of surprising us, and sometimes those surprises hit us in ways we never expect. He spoke about resilience next, the funny, bittersweet kind, about how life pushes and pulls, but also gives back in unexpected ways, about how laughter has always been the counterbalance to stress, about how relationships, romantic, platonic, professional, give life meaning even in moments that feel overwhelming. Fans were captivated, not because of any spectacle, but because of honesty, because they could feel every emotion, every heartbeat, every smile, every playful nudge. The energy was contagious. Bradley leaned back, exhaling softly. He joked again, this time about needing an extra cup of tea to recover from all the feels, and the audience laughed once more. It was light-hearted, but it didn't erase the depth of the moment. Humor and emotion were coexisting beautifully. Then he paused, letting the silence breathe. Not awkward, not empty, but rich and warm. Silence has a way of giving weight to words that laughter alone cannot. He let the moment settle, and it felt like time slowed. Ruth's gaze never wavered. Her subtle expressions, soft laughter, a knowing look, a playful eyebrow raise added layers to the scene. She didn't need to speak. Her presence said everything. The romance in this moment wasn't scripted. It wasn't dramatic. It was gentle, steady, and affectionate. Bradley reflected once more on the journey, how far he's come, how small victories, kindness, and shared joy have shaped him, how the moments that seem ordinary often become the ones remembered the most. He acknowledged that the love and support from those around him, the family, friends, colleagues, fans, have made life richer, lighter, and brighter. Fans watching felt a connection to their own lives. They recalled the laughter that followed tears, the quiet support of someone who just gets you, the small gestures that matter more than words. The emotional resonance spread like wildfire. Bradley's cracked one last joke, self-aware and charming, the kind that made the room laugh again while still carrying warmth. Ruth laughed too, the sound clear, soft, and full of affection. The tension that had lingered melted, replaced with laughter, comfort, and a shared human experience. This wasn't a goodbye. It wasn't a tragedy. It was a moment of authenticity, a reminder that emotion is not weakness, that humor is not avoidance, that connection is what makes life memorable. The camera captured it all, but it wasn't the visuals that mattered most. It was the feeling, the laughter, the warmth, the shared vulnerability, the romance of knowing someone understands you completely without grand gestures. Fans felt it too, the warmth, the honesty, the connection. The humor didn't diminish the emotion, it highlighted it, like laughter after a heartfelt confession. Moments like these are rare. They make people feel included, even if they're watching from thousands of miles away. As the moment faded naturally, fans were left with a lingering sense of joy and contemplation. It reminded everyone that life's meaningful moments aren't always loud or planned. Sometimes they sneak up quietly. Sometimes they catch you off guard with gratitude and laughter and the sheer weight of feeling alive. Bradley didn't need to announce how meaningful it was. He didn't need to dramatize. The combination of warmth, humor, and honesty spoke louder than words ever could. The romance in the room, subtle and real, added an extra layer, a human depth that resonates far beyond the screen. And when the cameras finally stopped, when the laughter subsided, what remained wasn't sadness, it was connection. It was the understanding that even fleeting moments of sincerity can leave a permanent mark. Fans shared reactions instantly. They spoke of how refreshing it was to witness authenticity in a world so often filtered and curated. They laughed at the playful jokes. They remembered the soft gestures. They felt reminded of their own relationships and the people who make their lives warmer, funnier, and more meaningful. In the quiet after, the emotion lingered, not painfully, but warmly, a reminder that life is about laughter and love, about being real, about letting yourself feel fully. And Bradley? He smiled again, not for the cameras, not for the audience, but for himself, for Ruth, and for the countless people who'd felt something genuine in that shared, fleeting moment. Because moments like these aren't about spectacle, they're about life. They're about connection. They're about laughter after tears, affection without show, humor intertwined with heart. And that's why it stayed with everyone who watched. Long after the screen went dark, long after the last word had been spoken, the feeling lingered. It lingered because it was real, because it was playful, warm, romantic, and honest, because it reminded people that the best moments aren't planned, they're lived.